Hi, I finished my rainforest safari journal, and then after I finish a project, I always need some kind of transition, whether that's creating or cleaning up the space and reorganizing everything and kind of um, resetting, or like doing a transition project. But I need something to um, reset, and so I've been using this project for that. And what it is are little tabs that come off of the tea. I drink tea at night, and roasted dandelion spice detox tea is supposed to be good for cleansing your system, and so I drink that sometimes. It's caffeine free, and I've used these. I'll cut these out and use them as tabs on the pages sometimes. And then the little stringed, I don't know what else to call these besides tabs, that come on the tea have inspirational little sayings. The only thing that can limit you is believing that you are limited. Become limitless. Let your energy be used to build, not destroy. The purpose of life is to know yourself, love yourself, trust yourself, and be yourself. So these are little inspirational nuggets that I drink the tea at night. I like to see what the saying is going to be. And I've been saving these for a long time. As you can see, during our move, I didn't have time to do a lot of crafting, so I would just take these off of the tea bag and then store them away. And I thought, well, I'll get to that. And this is a fun project because you don't have to think a lot about it. And I just thread the beads on there in different colors and experiment. Like this one has kind of a long, we'll call that a tassel. And then like this is from a different tea bag, but there's a little tiny short tassel. I just think this is so cute. You could stick it in a book as a bookmark, or put it in a card that you're sending to a friend, or tuck it in a journal to remember something. Like this tea was given to me in a gift box by my son and daughter-in-law, and so I saved these little tabs. I think they're so cute. And then here was another one out of that same gift set. And then I don't know, they make cute little tassels, tabs, ephemera, and it's a fun project to just kind of de-stress, put on some music or a podcast or whatever you like to listen to, have a candle, something to drink, maybe some incense burning. Just a quiet time to craft without having to do a whole lot of thinking. So I thought I'd just share that and maybe do a couple together today. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good day. I got interrupted again. This happens just about every time I try to make a video, and so they're usually over at least the course of a full day, and sometimes multiple days, because I'll be mid recording and then something comes up. But I wanted to show you these beads. I got these at Michael's, and these are called seed beads, but they don't have a lot of identifying information on them. They do say 6/0 up here, and if you can see that, that's what it says on the label. And I like the ones that have multiple colors per tube. They do sell these with just a single color per tube, but I definitely like to get a whole lot of different colors in each tube. And I just really love these. I had this one first, and I was making all these with these colors, and I went day before yesterday and I found these three also. And I think they had a couple others with multiple colors in them, but I like those the best. So that's what I've chosen. And I got my bead threader in, my new one, because well, you may not know, but I broke my last one, and so I got 4 more of these. These are called Beadalong. These are great for this project. These are fine, was on the label, and they might be a little finer than the one I had before, and they fit through the tiniest of beads. I also have these tiny seed beads, and I have multiple colors of these. I have these silvers and golds, and there's this one with pinks. I have this one with blues and greens, this one with black, white, and gray, and then I have one with reds and blues. And I'll show you the container. They just clip onto this container. So there's the last one. And it also has this, it came with some bigger beads. I use it to store some other stuff, and that just pops right here in the top. Like that. So I'll never use this many beads, probably as long as I live, but that's how it came. And I think it was $34, which I thought was a good deal. And so I've been using mostly this color of these tiny ones, and I put them in between the bigger seed bead and the next bigger seed bead. So it's like a little transition. And I started out using a whole bunch of beads and kind of filling up the whole string, the whole tassel, and I decided I didn't really like that as much, so I backed off and I just put 4 of the bigger seed beads, and then I put a tiny one in between each one. And I gravitate towards really detailed projects. I like that a lot. Even at work, when I was working I had a government job, and when I was working that, I would gravitate towards these projects that were tedious, I guess you'd say, and a lot of people didn't like to do them, and I would end up doing these kind of detailed, tedious projects, and I find myself gravitating towards that in my crafts too. I really like that. So if the tedious work is not your cup of tea, this is probably not the project for you. You probably won't like this. But if you do like that detailed, tiny work, so if you're a beading person, a beader, what do you call that if you work with beads? Is it beader, beading? But when you sew those onto clothes, a beadstress, you might like this. And so what I do is I just kind of decide what color I want, and then I poke the little bead threader through, and I've got a mix of colors from all of those different tubes I just showed you. And I'm just going to be making a few here. So if you've been here before, welcome back. And if you're new, I'd like to welcome you here. Thank you for being here, to all of you. I always enjoy spending this time with you. So there we have just the 3, and then so you can see we've got I put a little one on first, a tiny, tiny bead, and then the bigger one. And I usually, well, I don't always, but sometimes I'll stick with the same color. Like these tiny ones are all gold, but I have been mixing that up some. And then you just whatever colors you like. And then once you make your journals, you can just pick these out of your stash and put these in with whatever journal they end up matching. I do think these would be really nice to tuck into a card that you give to someone. do people just still do cards much? I do a little bit. I miss that though, how we used to give cards to people. Texts have taken over, it seems like. So much fewer cards now, so much less in the mail. I know I've talked about that before, how much I loved pen paling. I do have a few pen pals still. Actually, I have a couple of new pen pals and a couple of older pen pals, but I really enjoy that. It's just something special about going to the mail box outside and there's a package or a letter. This is the other thing I do. I take this owl or awl, this pointy thing that we use to poke the holes in our journals to bind them, and I just separate the little tiny strands. Yes, see, I told you it's such a detailed project. The tiniest little details. Have to definitely have my bifocals on for this. I tell you, getting older with my eyesight, it's something to get used to. Without the glasses, it's blurry, and my eye doctor told me when I first went in for help with my eyes, it's probably been about 10 years ago now, he told me I might have had better than 20/20 vision when I was younger. So it's been hard to lose that vision, but I am thankful that glasses do work and that I'm able to get glasses. So there you go. I like the colors of this one. Oh, it's pretty. It says, never regret your mistakes. Admire the courage it took to attempt the unknown. That's a good one for me. I have some doozies of mistakes that do. I can get into regret if I think about them. I suppose we all have things like that. Well, I would imagine it's possible anyway. So just going along and gonna finish out the rest of these. Do this one in some pinks, pink and gold. I gravitate all the time towards teal. I have to steer myself away from it to get myself to use other colors. I can't remember if I always liked teal, but at some point I just became so drawn to that color. So this little bead threader is where it's at. It is just so handy, so neat. And it was my yoga teacher who introduced me to the little bead threader. I was at a mala making class. I can't remember if I mentioned that or not. I made this video, or tried to. Well, I started and I got interrupted, and so when I started over, I think I didn't mention where I got the idea for the bead threader, And that was from my yoga teacher when I went to a mala making class, and she had those, and it made it so much easier. So I don't think you could this couldn't be done, I don't think, without a bead threader. These beads are just too tiny. So I wouldn't have even attempted this before I had that. But they're really cheap. They're only, I think I paid $5 for 4 of those. I mean, I think that's not bad. I got it on Amazon, and I have Amazon Prime, so I didn't have to pay shipping, which is such a neat perk. I have noticed that they've started charging for like same-day shipping, but I don't need things shipped the same day. Anyway, I think you can also get those bead threaders at Hobby Lobby if you have a Hobby Lobby. Maybe at a Michael's too, but I don't know about Michael's. I haven't checked there. They do have a lot of neat hardware and beads at Michael's. They have a lot of charms too. I was so sad when Joann's went out of business. That was close to my house, and where I used to live, it was in walking distance, and I would walk over there, and when their charms would go on sale, I would stock up. I did a couple of haul videos of charms, and I just made I found so many good buys on charms when they were 50% off, and so it was really sad they went out of business. And I guess they went out of business everywhere, not just our store. Also our Kirkland's that's close to me, they're going out of business. But that says that it's only that Kirkland's. And it's in a good location, so I don't know what happened. I guess online purchasing has sort of taken over. And it's having an effect on all the brick and mortar stores. I guess definitely Amazon is probably having a big effect on that. And Temu. I don't order very much from Temu. It takes so much longer to receive, and then I'm never quite sure what I'm getting with Temu. I don't know if you've had that experience or not, but with Amazon, sometimes that happens where I think I'm getting one thing and I get something else, but I feel pretty confident that I can return it if I need to, but I've never returned anything to Temu before, and I'm not sure how that would work. So if I need it to be something specific, I wouldn't order that from Temu. If you've got a lot of experience with Temu, I'd love to know, have you ever returned anything there, and how did that go? Or do they even take returns? Is it worth it to try to return something if you need to? Also, Temu, I've noticed that they will send stuff packaged in a bubble mailer that really should be in a box. And so if some of the items, like if they're delicate paper things, they'll be bent or ripped. And that's happened a little bit with Amazon too. They've started packaging, I guess, less cautiously sometimes. Maybe is a good way to put it. Anyway, sometimes it's not very well packaged, and I've had a few issues with that. Well, anyway, you guys, I just thought I'd share this little project with you and say hi and welcome you if you're new and you've recently joined the channel. I'm so glad you're all here. I haven't decided if I'll do a flip through of the Rainforest Journal or not. I may see you back with a flip through of that, and until next time, I hope that you take good care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Bye.